Oh wow, look at this spider web here. That's pretty crazy with that light coming in and that huge spider web behind it. It's a little bit concerning considering my fear of spiders. We're gonna ignore that for the picture here. Today I am taking a 1 mile, not even a hike, just a little walk, trying to show how much you can really get in such a small area if you really just stop and pay attention to all the little things. Today I am using the Sony A7IV, like always, with my 28-70 just kind of default Sony Kit Lens. And like I said, it is a very quick walk, but we're gonna try and get as much as we can here. And let's jump right in with these flowers right here. This patch looks a little wilted, so I'm gonna find a spot I like a bit better. And there is some sunlight coming in on the background of this one, which might be helpful. Let's get our lighting figured out here. Maybe zoom in just a touch. So we'll just call that good and get started here. I really like this trail leading through. And again, we can work with that light behind it just a touch here. I think maybe from a lower perspective I want to get the trail still, but we might just dip down a little bit here. And we'll try one wide as well. It is just one big loop, so I guess I'll just start going this way and we'll find our way back. This is a really cool log here. It's got some like barbed wire on it or something, but we should be able to sneak in here and grab some of these textures. And the light is landing really nicely on just this one little patch of greenery here, and it's also got a bit of a spider web on it. I'm not sure if that will come through, but we can see if we can have that in the picture at all here. And I might even kind of get real low here, so that way the sun could be in the background of the pic. That way those spider webs should really be made more clear and be a lot more visible in the picture. Yeah, something like that should work. I know I'm the only one here, but I still tend to kind of whisper as I'm walking through in hopes that I might get a little closer to a bird or a deer or something and I don't scare it off before I see it. Got a cool little shack here or something. Just tucked right in the woods here. There's this log over here. I'm just gonna take 2 steps off the trail here. And I just kind of like this subject kind of in the midst of all these branches lying around. We have that main kind of source of it all, which I think is kind of interesting. I've got a great fern here, which if you've watched the channel at all, you know I'm a big sucker for. I tend to like the high aperture kind of close-ups. I usually use my other lens for this, but this will work for right now. Got a couple options there. And while I was down there, I noticed all these like sticks and stuff adding some cool color contrast to these leaves. It looks like they're like trapped in these spider webs. Trying to find a frame I like here. I think I'll just go kind of head on. See if those colors come through at all. It's early and we're kind of tucked into the woods here, so it's pretty dark. We're gonna have to use a high ISO on a lot of these pictures, but that is okay. Got some great moss here. And then we might be able to use those leaves as some sort of subject. They hide a little bit into the background here. So maybe I'll opt for something just a bit closer. That'll do. Wow, this tree up here is pretty amazing. It's got some really cool branches coming out of it. It's probably not going to be a great picture, but I kind of want to get something of it. This is where a wide lens would really come in handy, but we'll make it work with that. And again, a really cool tree. This one, since we're closer, we can probably sort of lead the photo along this big trunk here into just those branches in the background there. And let's see if we can capture this moss here at all. It's kind of got a different texture to it than the one we were looking at before. But still has these little pockets of spider homes here. And even something just as simple as this little trunk on the trail here. This root, I guess. It doesn't seem like it's that exciting, and it might not be to you, but it's just a nice little subject, just because of that contrast between the trail and the roots there. Another one here. Get that X shape. I've got kind of a fallen tree here that's sort of fallen apart, but it's got these cool textures coming out of it. And again, with all this moss here, tilt you down so you can see. There's just like a piece of wood underneath all of this, and it's just kind of surrounded the whole thing. I think this is one where we just kind of point and let the textures do all the work for us here. And I really like this color of this wood here. It's similar to some of the trees, but it seems like the color has maybe popped a little bit as it's started to die since it fell. Got some cool leaves here we can get in close on. Try out a couple different focus points here. Oh, I like this bridge. Nature always wears the colors of the spirit. There's some shots I'm seeing that I know just aren't going to work well with the lighting we've got, that I'm kind of passing up on. But there's other ones like this where the light is landing just on these leaves. We can kind of use that to our advantage here. I'll even try focusing on the background with just these leaves a bit blurry in the foreground there. I like this look a lot, actually. Again, with this moss that I've been seeing along the way here, but it's got these really cool ridges and textures on the trunk that pair really nicely and are a good contrast with kind of this smooth green moss right next to it. We'll get a wide shot and then zoom in on a portrait here. Capture that lighting on the left side as our primary focus there. Oh, this has got a nice little pocket. It's either in the moss or in the tree here, but there's like a little plant growing out of it, which is pretty cool. Wow, look at these branches. Those are kind of crazy. I don't know if I've seen something like that before. With these like really curved shapes here. I think we'll keep one kind of underexposed here to add to that like eerie feeling maybe a little bit. And again with these roots, I think instead of a overhead shot, I'll get a little lower this time. Maybe get some foreground blur on one and get that focus going in the background here. Something like that. This is a great frame here. I like the wooden bridge. I think that is a really fun character in this picture here. But then also just the lighting in the background is really nice. We don't need our ISO that high. That's perfect. And then we should also be able to use this really good backlight to grab some photos of these trees. Kind of as silhouettes here. And capture all those leaves reflecting the light a bit. Just trying out a bunch of different ways to take that one. Again, with this contrast between these like white trees and all these green leaves around it, I think is really cool. Again, with the wider lens would benefit us. But if I scoot back just a little bit, something like that should work. I like how this trail just kind of weaves through here. Oh, and there's actually a rope swing over there. But we can focus on the trail down there. The signs do kind of take away from the immersive nature feel just a little bit, but that's okay. This is a great little opening here. And we can crop those signs a little bit on our end, but still capturing this rope in the middle. And I'm gonna stick my focal point on that big knot at the bottom. And I'm gonna move to the right a little bit here because I want more of this tree included. I feel like it kind of completes this story of this rope, gives a little more context onto how it's there, maybe subconsciously. And maybe even a photo kind of from the bottom here, just looking up at the rope. With those leaves in the background. It's kind of a cool one. A bit playful with the rope here. We've got to try it out, right? If this is the death, at least I got it on camera. And how would one get off of something like this? Okay. Oh, look. Okay, I set my camera down just to take care of some personal matters there, but I found this spider that I missed on the way up here. Let's see if we can trick the camera into getting a focus on it here. Can't do manual focus with this lens. Let's just try a different angle here. It's so interesting because I hate spiders a lot, but whenever I find one, it feels like I just have to take pictures of it. Keep moving here. Again, we've got a great route right here in the middle of the trail. And it's especially nice because we've got this kind of framing that's happening around it with these leaves coming, kind of fighting their way over the trail here. Something like that should work. The sun is starting to peek its way through all the trees here. We've got some really cool lighting up above me. We can take that kind of classic overhead shot of just the leaves with that overexposed sky behind it all. Brighten things up a bit. And again, this is a great point to get a photo of this trail. And we can include that lighting on the right side of this tree here. ISO is going to be super high on this one, but something like that should work. Probably another trail picture here. I always take too many of these, but I usually just love them. And the lighting on this one's pretty fun. You can see those rays coming through on the right, just landing on these little patches. I'm doing a third trail picture in a row here, because I like this fern on the left side. And again, this lighting is helping us out at this point, and it can add those layers to an image. Got the fern, got the trail, got that backlit sky and leaves. We've got some new plants here I haven't seen yet, which I kind of just like the color contrast. It's still green, but having that kind of lime green with that forest green is a fun little combo. We've got all these ferns here that we should just be able to get kind of a wide shot of. Maybe zoom in a little bit, make it more of a foreground with us focusing on some of those ones in that deeper section there. And then same idea, but with these trees adding to the photo at this angle. Got a great look here. In between all these leaves is this log that kind of brings that orange color and that bark texture with it. Oh wow, look at this little plant here. It's got all these yellow like buds, but then kind of these like dandelion pieces to it. Another tough one to get a focus on here, I'm sure. But that might do it right there. That's a cool little plant. This is another really cool one. I can't tell if it's dead or alive, but the colors on this are really interesting. I think we'll just opt for that smaller focal point here. Just get concentrated on one of these individually. Oh wow, look at this spider web here. That's pretty crazy. With that light coming in and that huge spider web behind it, it's a little bit concerning considering my fear of spiders and how big that is, but we're gonna ignore that for the picture here. We'll just keep it moving. Got a cool little image here with this tree in between these ferns again. That's kind of a fun one. The lighting on these little plants is pretty cool. We can just kind of get up close here. Get all this hard lighting. Will cause a lot of those shadows to come through. And the light's really coming through this section. This tree should be a nice image here, kind of silhouetting it a little bit. This is really cool. Maybe I'll take a wide shot here as well. This is a cool little spot here with the light on these logs that must have been blocking a trail or something. Got chopped down. Sometimes it's tough with these lighting pieces because it's so overexposed compared to everything around it. So you either have to expose for the highlights or the shadows, and either way it'll blow out one side of it all. We've got a really cool section here. It's getting pretty thick, and so it just kind of allows more things to capture here. And I like all the thin trees just kind of making their way up in front of this sunlight there. This is a really cool spot. I'm not sure if this is moss or just a plant covering this whole area here, but I like the look of it. Move to the side, catch some more of this kind of slant of it, this hill. Get some more of that texture in the image here. We might be able to catch that loop trail sign just kind of through all these leaves here. Which might be kind of a cool picture here. Get that foreground, midground, background going. This is kind of cool, just this little shape here with this moss on it. Get it in the middle of the frame there. We've got these cool little buds or flowers or something with all this light just kind of pounding on it. Can get that silhouette look there. Okay, the GoPro died, but believe it or not, that was about a mile of trail there. But it feels like a lot more when you just kind of take the time to slow down and take a look at everything. Sometimes even if a trail feels like it'll be a whole lot of nothing, you just kind of gotta go for it and keep an open mind and see what you get. So that'll do it for this video. Let me know if you guys enjoy these relaxing nature photography videos, and I appreciate you watching. I'll see you next week.